All right. Well, let's. This is your show. I don't know why I'm doing any kind of transition.
All right. I don't. Okay. Well, what I was going to do before you interrupted me, I want to take a look here before we talk about the television program that Tony did the other day. What is the talent in AEW? Where are the main event stars in the wrestling business, and what percentage is where? And I figured we'd look at AEW and look at WWE and see, because yeah, I know that Tony has some people that are hurt, but I'm afraid he's got a bunch of interchangeable parts that don't fit together coherently and no stars positioned to lead him. But do you think it would be a fun exercise if we just looked at these rosters that we looked at a couple months ago and we picked who I potentially would keep and who I'd can? But I got all the names right here. I'm going to ask your input on this also, because I don't want to just exert my will. I'm getting my pad out here right now and everything. Jot down your thoughts. Let's just examine this talent roster and see where the stars are. What do you think?
Let's give it a shot. I mean, I'm pretty down on everything. I just watched Dynamite this morning. So, but yeah, let's give it a shot.
Well, we don't have to. I'm looking for main event level talent. Who could legitimately be at a main event that we care about, that can carry the ball? We don't have to sit here and analyze every name, and we're going to stick with guys on both companies. I'm not even going to get into philosophical discussions, but I think it's safe to say that, there's no women in AEW that are going to just carry a big money main event on a pay-per-view in the immediate future. So we're not losing anything here on that. But would you like to let me just rattle off some names and see if you stop me and or disagree with anything I say? On the AEW roster, Bobby Lashley, one would agree he's a main event guy. He's a former WWE champion. The people like the Hurt Syndicate. He's got credibility. Used properly, one would think he could be in the main events, correct?
Correct. Well,
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say correct, but, damage has been done. But I actually think Bobby Lashley could still recover pretty quickly with a good push.
And also, when who could be a main event talent, we're not going to ask the question for in each company, but who could be a main event talent in both companies? Because there's something to be said for that. But after Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. And I think maybe Shelton is the cutoff point for, at this stage in his career, we're talking about main event guys that are going to move something on pay-per-view, that could be the world champion, could be featured. I think, is Shelton the Arn Anderson line here?
So we're not talking about just wrestlers you would keep. We're talking about wrestlers you kept who could be main eventers.
We're talking about who deserves on the AEW roster, who deserves to be main event wrestlers in a major national wrestling company.
Realistically, I think Shelton Benjamin in tag action, no matter who his partner is, but one-on-one, I think too much damage has been done long-term by booking in other places, and even here, but really other places.
Right.
I personally don't, and I'm a fan of his.
There you go. And I agree. But Samoa Joe, right now, he is in the main event here. And from his performance, both verbally and physically, if any of these goofy bastards should be in contention for the AEW World Championship, it should be him. But the Hobbs ain't there yet. No. Might be one day, not right now. Anthony Bowens, A.R. Fox, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn. Stop me when I mention a name we might discuss for this list. Bandito, Big Bill, Brody King, Buddy Matthews. Oh, where's Buddy gone? Cash Wheeler, tag team only. Claudio, Darby Allin. Oh,
You know what?
Jesus Christ.
I think Darby, not that I agree with a lot of shit, but in his own way, he's a unique character that is a main eventer for AEW.
I'm writing him down.
Yeah.
Dax Wheeler. Dustin Rhodes.
You mean Dax Harwood?
Or Dax Harwood. I had cash in Dax name. Dax Harwood. Jesus Christ. Whatever the case. Dustin Rhodes. Hook. Jay Lethal. Has he been abducted by ICE agents? Where the fuck has he been? Jay White. Probably the same place. Juice Robinson. John Morrison. Josh Alexander. Kevin Knight. Takeshita.
Ooh. I'm going to do that because I think the timing may work. He hasn't proven it yet. He hasn't been it yet here in America. And where he is in the main events in New Japan, I mean, business is dead. Not that it's his fault. But is he a main eventer yet? I mean, he hasn't been totally screwed up by the booking, but he also hasn't been in the main event.
He's an interesting case because he's never going to be able to cut a promo, so he's never going to be the guy. But at the same time, with proper usage, he could be a viable... Boy, if Gary Hart was around. But nevertheless, we'll put him down. Kyle Felcher.
I feel like that's a universal thing now that everyone sees. And he stands out on that show. He stands out in the way that you're like, when is he going to go to WWE?
Yeah, please hurry. Kyle O'Reilly. There's some people here now that that I would not have kept, that I'll go down that list also, because John Moxley.
Ooh, that's
boy, howdy.
Just one honk there.
Yeah.
Again, I hate his work. I hate clearly his booking instincts. I hate the things that he really likes and wants to get on TV. However, he is a main eventer, and you can't say he isn't. So, like, I'm pinching my nose, but I think I have to, maybe. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's in that spot. Name recognition might be his strongest point. Kenny Omega.
He may not have much time left, but for AEW, he's still a main eventer. Yeah. So he's still one of the people that means something, I think, to their fans, even at this late stage.
Shapoopy. Okay, here's one. Is this a main event guy? Is this a guy that you can put in main events on big shows that will draw money and or have a great match, as they say? Okada.
I'm not going to do it. No.
The geese ain't flying, baby. I mean, it just, no. Sorry, whatever that they're fans of that they still see that's gone now. All right, then some more names. Solo, they're Solo. What was Aaron Solo? Action Andretti. Alex Abrahantes. Where is he gone?
Oh, yeah, whatever happened to him? He was good.
Yeah. Alex Reynolds. Angelo Parker. Anthony Agogo. Adam Page. Whew. They've tried to make it happen, but can you say he's really a main event guy?
You know, I hate his promos so much. Every time he gets on the mic now, I watch intently to see if he'll say anything. I'm like, all right, he did all right. But every time it just goes into nonsense. They like him. There are also fewer of them than there have been. I remember when CM Punk and MJF were having their feud. Dave Meltzer said the credit for the pay-per-view should have gone to Adam Page and Adam Cole having their match. My point is he's been in their main event picture. Their fans like him. Things are also not as hot now as they've been in the past. I personally don't see him as a main eventer. That's why I'm not honking, but to each their own.
Let's put him down with 2 question marks for later on. They might need some help on this side when we compare the rosters. Brandon Cutler, Brian Cage, Brian Danielson doesn't count anymore. Brian Keith, Charlie Bravo, Chris Jericho.
I'm going to give it a little bit of one just because since he's been gone from AEW, they have less star power than they did before. And he's going to want to do something different if he did come back. He may be able to get another main event run, especially with this roster. And with WWE, I don't think he'll rest in the main event, but I think he'll get a few main events and then be upper mid-card into some kind of feud with someone you nominally care about.
I don't know if he would even be that regular. I think the WWE would say, hey, we want to do a couple of big shows. We want to do a little, live event tour or whatever. We want to do the Hall of Fame thing. Nevertheless, let's put Jericho 1 question mark. Christian Cage. Chuck Taylor. Colt Cabana. Shut up.
I'm fucking with you. No, I'm fucking with you.
Edge. Anyone?
No.
What?
For me, no.
For name I'm just trying to put somebody on this poor beleaguered, depleted army. For name recognition and what he has been in the past, you could do it better than. Hey. Okay.
They did the hottest angle they've done with him, and they really haven't done much with him, and the angle wasn't even that great. And then as soon as it happens, he disappears off TV. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's really said anything. No one's like, I really miss the Cope being on the show. This isn't 10 years ago or 15 years ago. It's now, and I don't think he's a main eventer now.
Danhausen, Danny Garcia, Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Drilistico, Eddie Kingston, Evil Uno, Griff Garrison, Hologram, I don't want you. Hologram, I don't need you, 'cause all you are is a hologram. Somebody named Cassidy, Jack Perry, John Silver, Josh Woods, Keith Lee. We did this a few months ago. Luchasaurus. Is he just the people like to see him do some things, but you can never put him in a money deal? Or is it just because they've never tried? He's not very smart, but you could stick him in something with and have people work around him, couldn't you? But not in a main event. He can't talk for himself. If he does, he sounds like a putz. Pip Sabian, Commander, Kota Ibushi, Lee Johnson, Lee Moriarty, Luther, Mansoor and Mansway, Mark Sterling, Mike Seidel, Matt Jackson, the Buckaroo. And somebody's going, the Bucks could be in a main event. Yeah, that's why we're in this position, folks. Max Caster, Michael Nakazawa, Spitball Bailey. Shut up. Nick Jackson, the other Cucamonga kid. Comorado, if he still exists. Nick Wayne, where has he gone? Also his mother, where have they gone?
I forgot about all of them, yeah.
Pockets, Ortiz. We went through the roster that was listed at the time. Pretty Peter, Preston Vance, Ricochet. Rush, Satnam Singh, Serpentico, Shane Taylor, Sean Dean, Rigor Mortis, Tia Leone, Bishop Khan, Tony Nese, the Magnum people, Turbo Magnum and Floyd Smoot, whatever their names were, Trent, Wheeler Yuta, Lance Archer, Leo Rush, Mark Briscoe. He's in the same kind of boat as Shelton. Mark Davis, Mark Quinn, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, MJF.
Yeah, he's a main eventer.
Just somewhere else, unfortunately. I think it's gone as the train has reached the end of the line at AEW, but he has the talent. Pac, Roderick Strong, Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky, Wardlow, and lastly, two people, Swerve Strickland.
You know, I'm going to honk the horn for him.
And Will Ospreay.
And I'll honk the horn for him. And
And
they're both injured.
Yes, but they still exist, so we'll write them down. So what we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have 10 main event guys where one of them is take a shit, and that's only with a drastic change in presentation. One of them is Kyle, where he's still really growing into it. One of them is Moxley, where we had to hold our nose. One of them is Omega, that has a few matches left in him, maybe. And then we have 3 question marks: Adam Page, Chris Jericho, and Edge.
You know what? I'll put Adam Page on the list. For AEW, he's one of their main eventers. Absolutely.
All right.
Now that I hear the list being read back to me, I feel bad that...
Yeah, you see, at the time we talked about him, you thought it might get better.
Yeah, it didn't.
So that is what they've got to work with when you're talking about putting together a pay-per-view or major event, main event match, world title on the line, whatever no wonder he's hit the fucking wall. And these other names are just a bunch of fucking names. And most of them are either never seen or have been there forever.
Where is he supposed to get anyone?
Well,
sure, you can get a Ridge Holland, but that's not a game changer right now. You would actually have to rebook him and start from scratch, using him as an example for everyone. Where are you going to get anyone right now?
That's the point that I've also been making. He's bought the cupboard bear from Mexico and Japan, and not only that, but he brings in so many similar styled, similar appearing, similar working guys from each market that none of them stand out in a positive way. Okada stands out to me with how lazy he is, but none of them stand out because you got 4 or 5 guys at the same time doing the same shit. He couldn't book to begin with, and now he's tired and his roster is depleted. But think about it, this is November 2025. When did they debut on the air? Fall of 2019, right?
Yeah, I think maybe October 2019, September, October. Yeah.
So it was springtime 2018. First time I talked to Tony Khan when he uttered the immortal words, "Nobody will ever write my TV except me." And that is 7.5 years ago. And the prophecy has come true. And the tree is bearing the fruit. Even goddamn Leo Garibaldi, for fuck's sake, I'm ribbing, but an Eddie Graham or a Bill Watts or any great booker, whatever, they took a break, they took a rest, they had runs in the middle. I can personally testify. I was more fanatical, at least, if not smarter, more fanatical about it than all of those people I just mentioned. And it will make you insane in much less than 7 fucking years. So
Do you think he said that to you to impress you? Like, it wasn't
no,
a
he was
warning.
dead serious because he was telling me without violating any NDAs. Is there a statute of limitations on those? I printed that out the other month when I was going through the files. I forgot what the date is.
Coming to Cornette's Collectibles, signed NDAs very soon.
You know what? I will, if I can figure out an appropriate charity. But nevertheless, what was the question you asked me? Now you've blanked. Oh, no, did he say it seriously? He was telling me. I was asking a couple of questions about, well, how do you plan to do this or that or whatever? But he was telling me the people that he thought he could get to work on the roster that he either already planned to or that he would like to have come in. And I said, well, most important, who are you going to get to book this thing for you? Again, not fishing for the job, but trying to establish where this fucking I'm told to call a billionaire that I've never heard of who's going to start a wrestling company. And he's telling me all these things he's going to do. And the first thing I want to know is who's going to do all these things for you? And that's when I found out that he thought he could do them all himself. And that's when I immediately knew what was going on here and have never been proven wrong, which is why I chose to not involve my mental strain anymore in indulging him, but he wanted to call everybody in the wrestling business and tell them all how great his ideas were and how excited he was about running Vince McMahon out of business and having the greatest wrestling company in the world. And you cannot reason with somebody like that, except if you want their money, you agree with them and they give you a job. If you want to talk them out of it because you live in the real world, it will drive you out of your fucking mind. And here we are. Yeah. And he's still writing the television. It's like if I told somebody on the phone, you know what, this goddamn irregular heartbeat I've got, I'm going to need surgery, but nobody's going to do my open heart surgery but me. What the fuck is the matter with you? Why would I do have a high opinion of my intellect, Brian, but why would I just go into some goddamn field that I've only watched on television, that I have absolutely no experience in whatsoever, and just think I was going to run the best fucking company of that thing in the world?
The arrogance of modern fandom, especially with wrestling, leads people to think that they could do everything better than everyone else. I'm guilty of it. Everyone is. Tony just had the money to say, hey, Dad, let me do this. And he did.
Yeah, to do more than think, right? But you know, Brian, sometimes you need to change lines of work. Sometimes maybe something might not work out, like the Ridge Holland thing, or like sooner or later, somebody's going to have to sit down with Tony and say, you just can't do this anymore. And you know he's not going to be able to sit around and just count his billions in his Scrooge McDuck money bin. He's going to have to do something else. But if he comes up with an idea, how's he going to get that word out to the people without another television show? He ain't going to get that lucky twice. He's going to have to go to somebody with a big platform, isn't he?
He is.
Yes, that's where you're supposed to agree with me. A big platform. And do you know who's got the biggest, the longest, the girthiest, the thickest, and the throbbingest platform in all of e-commerce today, Brian?
Who's that, Jim?
Shopify. Cha-ching. That's exactly right. That's what you're going to hear every time that Shopify's big, throbbing, just massive, girthy e-commerce platform makes a sale then you're going to hear that sound because that's money going into your bank account. Ladies and gentlemen, with Shopify, you can get started with your own design studio. They got you covered. Accelerate your content creation. You know, you can do this from scratch with the Shopify people behind you because they've done all this before. Household names like Mattel. They're the commerce platform behind 10% of all the e-commerce in the United States. So they got their hand in everybody's pocket. And if they're picking pockets, they might as well pick pockets for you. You know that purple Shop Pay button?
They don't pick pockets. Well, I know that button, yes.
Yes, you know that button. Every time somebody presses it, that means somebody gets paid. Well, that somebody can be you. You just sign up with Shopify and you get one of those little cards that lets you into the Shopify headquarters. And then late at night, when nobody's around, you go in there and you reconfigure the patch cords to where every time somebody pushes that pay button, you get paid. And in 12 hours before they figure out what you've done, you'll have $38 million and you will live on your own deserted island in the South Pacific.
That is not,
now
that is not what's going to happen. And that's
with
not
hookers
a great
directly from Andrew Mountbatten Smithington.
Listen, he's using the hookers. They didn't say he was actually sharing them. But Jim, let's get back to the reality of the situation. And of course, the seriousness of business and commerce. You need someone you can trust on your side. And
it is serious.
And we know that you can trust, not silly, but serious. We know that you can trust the good people at Shopify because we do. ArcadianVanguard.com, Drive-Thru shirts, more to come. But we trust them. That means you can too.
And that iconic purple Shop Pay button does show a little bit of whimsy. It would just be plain old standard black if they didn't have a little whimsy to them, but they're not all the way into silly, just whimsy. But once again, you're wanting people to finger your purple button, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what that Shopify is going to make them do. So turn your dreams into reality. Turn your fantasies into something that's actually going on around you. Shopify can find all the people and the Dalmatian to make that a reality.
There's no Dalmatian. There's no Dalmatian at all. And let's not use this example, Jim, of course.
If you would like to see less of your carts being abandoned, because a cart is a terrible thing to waste, it's time for you to head over to Shopify today. Right now, sign up for your $1 a month trial period and start selling today right out of that same shopping cart at Shopify.com/JCE. That's how you get the $1 a month trial period. Shopify.com/JCE. Boy, I'll tell you what, talk about a shopping cart. You're going to be cruising down the highway in a brand new car with all the proceeds from what you're going to, it's going to be a business kind of like Frank Morrell used to say. He used to say, I went to the Kansas City territory. I drove in a $20,000 Lincoln Continental and I left on a $60,000 Greyhound bus. It's going to be just like that for you. You're going to trade up in the world, folks, with Shopify.com/JCE.
That's right. All kidding aside, we do use them for our online store. We recommend you could do that as well. In English, but once again, Shopify.com/JCE. Lady!
You made me swallow down the wrong way.